This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Monday, June 26, 2023. I'm Alex Brown. The president of Fishers-based Redux says the newly established availability of over-the-counter hearing aids is poised to benefit the company, which makes dryers for such devices. Redux plans to roll out a dryer designed for home use in a matter of days.
It lowers the vacuum pressure inside a chamber, and any electronics that's in there, the water will boil off at room temperature, turn to gas, and therefore we can run the machine until there's no more water left.
Ruben Zielinski said moisture is the only reason hearing aids don't last, and using a dryer extends their longevity and improves audio quality. Fort Wayne-based Faztech Industrial Solutions, which makes a variety of custom industrial equipment, said it will break ground tomorrow on a new $9 million headquarters and production facility. The project is expected to result in up to 24 new jobs by the end of 2026, adding to the company's existing 25 employees. The state of Indiana now requires licensed insurers and entities to report cybersecurity events through the Indiana Department of Insurance's online portal. The department says the effort is a new way to be compliant with the 2021 Indiana Insurance Data Security Law. The law requires those insurers and entities to develop, implement, and maintain an information security system, investigate any cybersecurity threats, and notify the IDOI. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
For 25 years, we've had the honor of telling the story of Indiana business. More than 1,300 shows, 8,000 interviews. We've traveled from Valparaiso to Versailles, Fort Wayne to Fort Branch, and everywhere in between. And we are just getting started. Our team is passionate about Indiana business because your story is worth telling. Join us every week as we travel the state to bring you Indiana's story. Inside Indiana Business, 25 years and counting.
Valparaiso-based Northwest Health is taking steps to demolish its old LaPorte Hospital. IIB's Kate Sharon has details.
The health system hired contractor Brandenburg Industrial Co., based out of Gary, to raise its former Northwest Health LaPorte location, our partners at the Times of Northwest Indiana reported. The old hospital sits just down the street from Northwest Health's new $125 million four-story hospital, which opened in 2020. Northwest Health CEO Ashley Dickinson told The Times that the system expects to start its last stage of demolition early this summer and finish by the end of next year. After demolition, contractors will grade and seed the vacant site to prepare for redevelopment. Northwest Health operates hospitals in Valparaiso, LaPorte, and Knox. The system's old LaPorte Hospital was formerly an IU Health hospital and was acquired by Community Health Systems in 2016, before being rebranded a few years later as Northwest Health. The building was formerly home to a sleep lab, wound center, infusion center, physicians' offices, and a COVID vaccination center. Those services were recently moved to a 40,000 square foot medical building at the campus of the new hospital. Kate Sharon, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
A rooftop performance and event venue is planned at the Madam Walker Legacy Center, the historic building in downtown Indianapolis that opened in 1927. Expected to cost $2 million, the renovation atop the four-story building received a $250,000 seed funding grant from the Nina Mason Pulliam Charitable Trust. The outdoor venue, likely to have a capacity around 100, will be integrated with the base of the building's signature red Walker Theater sign. Members of the Walker Board are finalizing a feasibility study for the rooftop renovation. Financing beyond the $250,000 Pulliam grant will be generated through fundraising. Pending those fundraising efforts, the rooftop venue is expected to open in 2024. It's a building that has stood for more than 130 years in Terre Haute, serving as the headquarters for Holman & Company and its iconic Clabber Girl baking powder. 2 years after the Holman family sold the building to Terre Haute businessman Greg Gibson, it is now being transformed into co-working and office space as a one-stop shop for innovators looking to create businesses. Kristen Craig is Executive Director of the Terre Haute Chamber of Commerce.
What we want is to be able to have anybody who's interested in starting a business, growing their business, anything having to do with business, to be able to walk through the doors of this building and access those services that they need. So if it's talking to the Chamber, we're here. Talking to the Economic Development Corporation, they're here. If it's finding that landing space as a co-working space and you want to come to the station, it's here. To really have all of those resources in one place for people to be able to access is so important.
The first 2 floors will be dedicated to local agencies, with the remaining 5 floors potentially being used for office or residential space. Former Colts star Robert Mathis is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.